So an athlete was discussing their nutrition and forgot what they used at Ironman Florida a couple years ago. Because I have athletes fill out a post-race report and I log into their Training Peaks log, I was able to go back to an Ironman Florida 2019 and look at his nutrition and where it went wrong so we don't repeat those mistakes for the race in Ironman Arizona. So the value of training logs, that right there says it all. Talk about the value of training logs.
Yeah, so I think it's really important not just to upload your Garmin data, GPS data, whatever you're using, heart rate. It's important to write subjective details, especially like after a race. You do your post-race review, race report, whatever you want to call it, season reflection, and just subjective details along the way. Like, let's say for today, I went for a ride. It started to rain, so I cut my ride short, or it started to rain, so that limited my ability to ride fast because it was slick. Just details like that, so you can look back on those and see how the weather impacted the data, and kind of use the data. I think the data is good to use as feedback, but I also like to have athletes record their rate of perceived effort. And so when this particular athlete, I actually coach him, he has been having some issues with nutrition, and he's preparing for Ironman Arizona, which is less than 12 weeks away. So we really want to get a handle on it now. So I had asked him, I go, well, what's worked with you in the past? And his comment back to me was, well, if you remember in Florida, I had some issues, but then he said, I don't remember what they were. And so I'm like, okay, I'm going to go back and look. So I was able to go back in his Training Peaks account from 2 years ago and see his post-race report, which included the reason he had GI distress and what he was using, what we talked about probably caused that type of GI distress. And so now we're able to jump ahead 2 years later and say, we need to make some changes. Don't do that. Let's try this in the next few training sessions.
Mm-hmm. It can even be as simple as I only had 5 hours of sleep because the kids got up early, or I wasn't feeling well, or I was tired in the morning, or I only had this much to eat, or I didn't have anything to eat. All these little pieces of information will help explain and understand why you had the performance you did, good or bad. I think about that too with, oh gosh, I can't remember how much water I had today. Oh my goodness. Or I didn't have any fruits and vegetables today. It would be crazy to think that, but I ate like crap. No wonder. Or I had this meal and I performed well. Let's see if we can replicate that, or at least get close to it for the next training session or what was led up to race day. All these things really help you understand where you were and where you can be in the future.
Yeah. And, Training Peaks now, as of maybe a year ago, they added little emojis. You can put it a little like a happy emoji, that means everything went well, to a frown emoji, that means it went bad. And you can even rate your rate of perceived effort. Training Peaks makes it so easy. You can just click on, a number 1 through 10 to indicate how hard that was. 1 being very, very easy, 10 being very, very hard. So then as you're looking at your own data, or the coach is looking at the data, they can say, okay, today your rate of perceived effort was a 5, your power was zone 4, but your rate of perceived effort was pretty moderate. Maybe it's time to reset your training zones, because if your current zone 4 is only a rate of perceived effort of a 5, well, then you probably have a higher zone 4 or threshold. And so it's just a valuable way to kind of manage everything in life that's going on, and learning yourself all those things that impact your effort for that day.